In today's video, we're exploring the chilling tales of 5 campers who vanished without a trace. These eerie disappearances will leave you questioning what lies beyond the flickering campfire light. So grab your flashlight and join us as we uncover the secrets hidden within the wilderness. Let's dive into the unknown together. Laura Vogel, an experienced camper and outdoor enthusiast, vanished without a trace on February 21, 2010, while camping alone in the Pauwela area outside of Maui. Laura, who had recently moved to Maui and was known for her love of surfing and hiking, had planned to spend the night under the stars near the Pauwela Point Lighthouse. On the day of her disappearance, Laura had visited a friend and mentioned her plan to camp out for the night. She was last seen wearing a blue shirt and gray sweatpants. When Laura failed to show up for work the next morning, her family grew concerned and contacted the Maui Police Department. Despite their efforts, the police advised them to wait 24 hours before filing a missing person report. Determined to find her, Laura's friends began searching the area themselves. Their search led them to Laura's van, abandoned in a grassy area off the main road. The van's passenger side door was open, and her keys were left in the ignition. However, her cell phone was missing from the car, although her laptop was found on the back seat. The van was parked near a transient camp where homeless people lived out of their cars. Maui police immediately launched an investigation into Laura's disappearance. They searched the area extensively but found no sign of her. They also interviewed everyone in the vicinity, but no one recalled seeing Laura that night. 2 days after the van was found, a search turned up Laura's cell phone nearby, broken into pieces. The phone records showed that after Laura sent a text message to her friend about her camping location, her phone made several calls to a number she had never contacted before. This number belonged to a homeless transient man who lived in the area. Despite his denial of involvement and inconclusive polygraph results, authorities considered him a person of interest in the case. Laura's family and friends were puzzled by her disappearance. They described her as a responsible and experienced hiker who would not take unnecessary risks, especially in flip-flops. They were also concerned about the transient camp near where her van was found, noting the area's reputation for drugs and crime. In the weeks following her disappearance, Laura's family continued to search for answers. They hired private search teams and worked with the police to gather any information that could lead to her whereabouts. Despite their efforts, Laura's case remained unsolved. Over time, 2 theories emerged regarding what happened to Laura. The first theory suggested that Laura had accidentally fallen off one of the cliffs in the area while hiking. The rugged terrain and her choice of footwear could have contributed to such an accident. However, her family believed this theory was unlikely, given Laura's experience and cautious nature. The second theory, which Laura's family found more plausible, was that she had met with foul play. They believed that the phone calls made from her phone after her disappearance, along with the suspicious circumstances surrounding her van, pointed to this conclusion. They also questioned the thoroughness of the police investigation, particularly regarding the transient man and the transient camp near where Laura's van was found. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, Laura's family remained hopeful that one day they would find answers. They continued to raise awareness about her case, hoping that someone with information would come forward. For them, the search for Laura was far from over, and they were determined to find out the truth about what happened to her. Christina Kaleka, a 20-year-old young woman full of life and dreams, set out on a camping trip with her cousin Faith and 2 friends, Eddie and Joe, in August 2007. They chose Rainbow Falls Provincial Park in Ontario, Canada, as their destination, eager to enjoy the great outdoors and each other's company. Christina, described as bubbly and hard-working, had dreams of missionary work and teaching. The group arrived at the park on a sunny afternoon, setting up camp near Whiteson Lake. Excitement filled the air as they unpacked their gear and prepared for a weekend of adventure. Little did they know their excursion would take a dark turn, forever altering the course of their lives. As evening fell, Christina and her companions gathered around a crackling bonfire, sharing stories and laughter late into the night. It was a moment of camaraderie and joy, a fleeting glimpse of the memories they would cherish in the days to come. However, as the night wore on, fatigue set in, and the group decided to retire to their tents for a brief rest. Yet in the midst of their slumber, time slipped away unnoticed, and they awoke to the soft light of dawn, realizing they had overslept. Undeterred by their late start, Christina and Eddie seized the opportunity to go for a morning jog, eager to explore the natural beauty surrounding them. They set off together, the crisp morning air invigorating their spirits as they ventured into the wilderness. As they traversed the park, Christina and Eddie made the decision to split up, each choosing a different path to explore. It was a choice made in innocence, born of curiosity and a desire to experience the solitude of the forest. Yet as fate would have it, their separation would mark the beginning of a harrowing ordeal. When Eddie returned to the campsite, Christina was nowhere to be found. Panic set in as they realized their friend had vanished without a trace. Frantic with worry, Christina's friends searched desperately for any sign of her, scouring the park and calling out her name into the vast expanse of wilderness. Hours passed, each moment stretching into eternity as they grappled with the terrifying possibility of never seeing her again. Finally, unable to find Christina on their own, they made the agonizing decision to alert the authorities. It was a moment fraught with uncertainty and fear as they faced the daunting reality of a loved one's disappearance. The Ontario Provincial Police sprang into action, mobilizing a massive search effort to locate Christina. Helicopters roared overhead, canine units scoured the forest floor, and specialized teams combed through every inch of the park in a relentless quest for answers. The search stretched on, each moment filled with pain and uncertainty. Despite their best efforts, Christina remained elusive, her whereabouts covered in mystery. In the midst of their despair, Christina's family clung to hope, refusing to surrender to the darkness that threatened to engulf them. They poured their hearts and souls into the search, determined to leave no stone unturned in their quest for answers. Yet as time wore on and the days turned into years, their hopes began to fade. The once vibrant young woman who had filled their lives with laughter and joy now existed only in memories, her absence casting a shadow over their every thought and action. Despite the passage of time, Christina's disappearance remains a painful and unresolved chapter in the lives of all who knew her. The search for answers continues, fueled by the determination of those who refuse to give up on finding the truth. In May 1989, Charles Horvath Allen set out on an adventure across Canada. Born in Ontario and raised in the UK, Charles was a free-spirited young man with dreams as vast as the open road. His plan? To travel from Quebec to British Columbia, soaking in the sights and experiences of the Great White North before celebrating his 21st birthday in Hong Kong with his beloved mother Denise. But fate had other plans. As Charles made his way through the sprawling landscapes of British Columbia, he found himself in Kelowna, a charming town nestled amidst the beauty of Canada's west coast. It was here at the tiny town campsite that Charles's journey took a dark and mysterious turn. According to witnesses, Charles was last seen cashing a check at a local bank on May 26, 1989. From there, he vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and shattered hopes. Denise, thousands of miles away in England, was thrust into a nightmare of uncertainty, desperate for any sign of her missing son. With no help from local authorities, Denise embarked on a journey of her own. She traveled from England to Canada multiple times, determined to uncover the truth behind her son's disappearance. Armed with flyers and posters, she plastered the town of Kelowna with Charles's image, hoping that someone somewhere would come forward with information. But the road to answers was fraught with obstacles. Despite Denise's tireless efforts, the truth remained elusive. Then a glimmer of hope emerged in the form of a mysterious note delivered to her motel room. The note hinted at Charles's demise, claiming that he had been beaten to death and his body dumped in a nearby lake. The revelation sent shockwaves through Denise's already shattered world, igniting a renewed determination to find her son at any cost. Divers were dispatched to search the lake, but their efforts yielded no results. The body they recovered was not Charles's, leaving Denise with more questions than answers. Frustrated and heartbroken, she refused to give up hope. Year after year, Denise returned to Kelowna, her resolve unwavering despite the passage of time. Her relentless pursuit of the truth caught the attention of Locate International, an international missing persons agency dedicated to solving cold cases. With their help, Denise's search for her son gained new momentum. Locate International partnered with Leeds Beckett University to launch a cold case unit, tasked with delving into Charles's disappearance and uncovering any leads that may have been overlooked. For Denise, it was a ray of hope in a sea of despair. As the investigation unfolded, new details emerged, shedding light on the events leading up to Charles's disappearance. Witnesses came forward, recounting their interactions with Charles in the days before he vanished. Each piece of information brought Denise one step closer to the truth, fueling her determination to find her son. But the road ahead was still long and uncertain. Despite the efforts of Locate International and Leeds Beckett University, Charles's fate remained unknown. Denise refused to give up hope, clinging to the belief that one day she would find the answers she so desperately sought. In August 2020, under the Presumption of Death Act 2013, Charles was officially declared dead after a High Court of Justice hearing. It was a bittersweet moment for Denise, bringing a sense of closure while reigniting her determination to find her son's remains and bring him home. With the support of Locate International and Leeds Beckett University, Denise's search continues. She knows that the road ahead will be difficult, but she refuses to give up hope. For Denise, the quest for answers is not just about finding closure. It's about honoring the memory of her beloved son and ensuring that he is never forgotten. Raymond Salmon, a 65-year-old Vancouver resident, set out on May 28th for a camping adventure at Harrison Lake, leaving behind the hustle and bustle of city life. With his trusty truck and camper in tow, he embarked on the journey to the tranquil shores of the lake, eager for a respite from the demands of everyday life. Located within British Columbia, Harrison Lake offered Salmon a sanctuary of solitude and natural beauty. The journey to his chosen campsite was an adventure in itself, navigating winding forestry service roads that meandered through dense forests and craggy outcrops. Upon reaching his destination, Salmon's campsite at the north end of the lake exuded an inviting aura, beckoning him to embrace the serenity of the wilderness. Surrounded by towering trees and the soothing lull of lapping waves, he felt a sense of peace wash over him as he settled into his temporary abode. For days, Salmon immersed himself in the simple pleasures of outdoor living, fishing in the crystal-clear waters of the lake and exploring the untamed beauty of the surrounding landscape. His two beloved dogs, faithful companions on his outdoor adventures, accompanied him on his daily excursions, their joyful barks echoing through the wilderness. However, Salmon's idyllic retreat took a sinister turn on June 9th, when Agassiz RCMP received reports of shots fired in the vicinity of his campsite. The tranquility of the forest was shattered by the jarring sound of gunfire, sending ripples of unease through the peaceful enclave. Concerned campers alerted the authorities, prompting an immediate response from law enforcement. As RCMP officers descended upon the scene, they were met with an eerie silence, the echoes of the shots fading into the stillness of the forest. Upon arrival, officers discovered Salmon's campsite abandoned, with his two faithful dogs left behind with no sign of their owner. The mystery deepened as investigators combed the area for clues, searching for any trace of the missing camper. Days turned into a relentless search effort, with search and rescue teams scouring the rugged terrain surrounding Harrison Lake in a desperate bid to locate Salmon. His distraught wife, Daniela, anxiously awaited news of her husband's whereabouts, clinging to hope amidst the uncertainty. As the search intensified, chilling discoveries surfaced, painting a grim picture of Salmon's fate. His belongings were found scattered along a secluded beach, a haunting example to the events that unfolded on that fateful day. Police theorized that Salmon may have found himself in a state of medical distress, resorting to firing shots in a desperate plea for help. Despite his efforts, salvation eluded him, and he allegedly attempted to swim back to his campsite, only to succumb to the unforgiving waters of Harrison Lake. The subsequent water search proved arduous, as search teams navigated the treacherous depths of the lake in search of Salmon's elusive remains. The murky waters concealed the truth, thwarting all attempts at recovery and leaving authorities grappling with the enigma of Salmon's disappearance. As time passed, hope waned, and the harsh reality of Salmon's fate settled over the tranquil shores of Harrison Lake like a shroud. Despite the exhaustive efforts of search and rescue teams, the wilderness held fast to its secrets, leaving Daniela and Salman's loved ones grappling with the agonizing uncertainty of his fate. On June 12, 1972, the air around Holmes Lake in Calabogie, Ontario, Canada, held the anticipation of a peaceful family fishing trip. Little did the McNaughton family know that this day would etch itself into the annals of their lives as a profound mystery, an enigma that would linger for decades. Adrian McNaughton, a bright-eyed 5-year-old boy with innocent eyes and a crown of blonde hair, was at the heart of this ordinary yet fateful day. His father, Murray McNaughton, had taken him, along with a family friend and 3 siblings, to enjoy the serenity of Holmes Lake. Little did they know that their lives were about to take an unexpected turn. The landscape surrounding the lake was beautiful. Adrian, like any curious child, grew tired of fishing after about an hour. His father, Murray, noticed his frustration as Adrian's fishing line got tangled. Murray, understanding his son's mood, took the fishing rod from him, expecting a quiet afternoon by the lake. However, fate had other plans. In a turn that defies explanation, Adrian vanished. One moment he was there, the next he wasn't. No scream, no splash, just an eerie absence that would haunt the McNaughton family for years to come. Adrian had, for lack of a better phrase, ceased to exist. The initial moments after his disappearance were filled with confusion and disbelief. Murray, thinking Adrian might be with his eldest brother Lee, sent him to the car to search. As Lee returned without any sign of Adrian, panic set in. The once serene family outing transformed into a frantic search for the missing boy. The woods surrounding Holmes Lake, initially a backdrop for a peaceful day, became the stage for a desperate quest to find young Adrian. Family and friends joined the search, hoping to find a clue, a footprint, or any sign of his presence. The hours passed, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow upon the landscape, the reality of Adrian's mysterious disappearance set in. The days that followed were filled with a strong determination to bring Adrian home. The local authorities, including the Ontario Provincial Police, OPP, joined the search efforts. Thousands of volunteers, including members of the Canadian Forces, scoured the rugged terrain around Holmes Lake. The armed forces, in their grid search covering an estimated 150 square kilometers, worked tirelessly with civilians to unravel the mystery. The search was an epic endeavor spanning 12 days and involving diverse methods. Divers plunged into the murky lake, hoping to find a trace of Adrian beneath the surface. Search dogs combed the area, guided by the scent that might lead them to the missing boy. Helicopters soared above, scanning the landscape for any sign of movement. The community, united in their adversity, showed unwavering support in the face of the inexplicable. Rumors echoed through the community in a flash. Some suggested that Adrian might have fallen victim to a wild animal, while others whispered about a suspicious black and white vehicle spotted in the area. Theories of foul play and abduction added layers of complexity to an already perplexing situation. Time passed, and the search expanded to include not only the immediate surroundings but also neighboring lakes and swamplands. The professional searchers and civilian volunteers faced the ominous challenge of navigating through dense vegetation, hoping to find solace in a clue that might reveal Adrian's whereabouts. In the midst of this painful situation, Adrian's family clung to the hope that he might still be alive. His mother, Barbara, expressed the belief that he could have been taken by a family desperately wanting a child. The possibility that Adrian was living a different life, surrounded by love, offered solace in the absence of concrete answers. Years passed, but the memory of Adrian's disappearance lingered in the collective consciousness of the community. In 2009, technological advances brought a renewed sense of hope. An age-enhanced image created by an artist portrayed what Adrian might look like in his early 40s. The OPP released this image, urging people to take a close look and think about those they knew. The search for Adrian continued, now in the realm of possibilities that stretched beyond the physical landscape of Holmes Lake. The Someone Knows Something podcast, hosted and produced by Canadian filmmaker David Ridgen, delved into Adrian's case in 2016. The investigation brought forward new leads and reignited interest in finding the missing boy. The podcast explored various theories, from the possibility of Adrian getting lost in the woods to darker scenarios involving foul play. In 2018, the search reached a frozen Holmes Lake once again. The team, armed with a core sampler, aimed to uncover the truth hidden beneath the layers of sediment. 3 cadaver dogs, with their innate ability to detect human remains, marked 2 samples, suggesting the presence of something significant beneath the frozen surface. However, the poor visibility and deep layers of sediment thwarted any definitive conclusion. As the investigation unfolded, Adrian's story intertwined with the experiences of those haunted by his disappearance. A writer, compelled by childhood memories and fears, discovered the profound impact of Adrian's case on his own life. The mental haunting, a fixation that defied the boundaries of time and distance, reflected the never-ending mystery that surrounded the missing boy.